I give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which in Hebrew are the wonderful names of the Creator, our Heavenly Father, I Am, which this world has named God, and His beloved anointed Son, which this world has named Jesus. I give honor, respect, and thanks to all the true, faithful, and sincere apostles, elders, prophets, and torchbearers of the nation of Israel, who have willingly endured and risked much to bring forth the truth. Thank you, brothers. In this chapter, we are beginning the conversation of the great plantation, the desires of the devil, which means deceivers, which are the rulers of this last wicked kingdom. They want to make everyone on this earth enslaved and in service to them. And they want the power of life and death in their hands. This is their desire. This, as always, is a message to our brothers and sisters of the nation of Israel, the mighty nation of Israel today being the so-called Negroes, the so-called Latins, Hispanics, and the so-called Native Americans. This may be a long chapter, but this is how it's come through from the Spirit, and who am I to stand in the way? The first scripture we're going to in this chapter is the book of St. John, chapter 5, verse 30. This is Yahweh Shai, our King of Kings, our Lord of Lords, our Savior, our Master, Prophet, our High Priest, and our brother, speaking. I can of mine own self do nothing. As I hear, I judge. And my judgment is just, because I seek not mine own will, but the will of the Father which hath sent me. Clear. So the dissolving doubts. Clear, clear, clear. 31. If I bear witness of myself, my witness is not true. So there are others who bore witness of Yahweh Shai. The main and most important, the book of St. Matthew, chapter 3, verse 17, and lo, a voice from heaven, saying, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. So our Father speaking from heaven in the presence of those that were with Yahweh Shai, testifying and witnessing of Yahweh Shai. The book of St. Matthew, chapter 17, verse 5, while he yet spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and behold, a voice out of the cloud, which said, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him. That's a mighty witness. That is one testifying of Yahweh Shai. That is the Most High power testifying of Yahweh Shai. The book of St. John, chapter 15, verse 26, But when the Comforter is come, whom I will send unto you from the Father, even the Spirit of truth, which proceedeth from the Father, he shall testify of me. There's another witness. Another one to testify of Yahweh Shai, King of the Israelites. 27, And ye also shall bear witness, because ye have been with me from the beginning. And so there were the disciples and those who believed on him. And then there are those of us today. And so to kick things off, we are bearing witness of the power and the majesty of our Father through the Son. As the Spirit brought out in the last chapter. We're dealing with, in our brother and our king and our savior and our master prophet, Yahushua, we're dealing with one that has real power. And you have to remember that he that cometh from above is above all. There are layers to things. And so, for instance, in the power that Yahushua is working upon the earth, he has power of the clouds. We are witnessing the power and the glory of the Father through Yahushua. And then we're witnessing it with clouds, right? Yahushua is going to come with clouds. In the end, with the heavenly vehicles and the heavenly host. But he is demonstrating power and glory and majesty.
Well, it's high tide. We are up to the third step. 2 more steps to go. Status quo. Boulevard is completely shut down.
Oh my god. Wait, it's actually coming. Oh my god. I'm actually so glad I'm not driving. There's no way. This is actually so scary.
Oh my God!
Things did get pretty bad in Arizona.
Yeah, at one point, winds hit 71 miles an hour in some cities. Officials in Tempe say more than 130 people have been displaced because of severe damage to homes and apartment buildings. Winds ripped rooftops off and knocked out power to at least 34,000 customers. The city says cleanup could take days.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 24, verse 30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. So he is announcing himself by the use of these clouds, by the judgment that a lot of these clouds announce, and then also in the whirlwinds, right? The tornadoes, the hurricanes, the monsoons, all these things that are occurring upon the earth, which are amplifying. They're getting stronger and stronger, louder and louder. And then also the frequency. Things are coming faster and faster and faster. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds. So his power is evident with these clouds. With these clouds. Coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. The book of Romans, chapter 3, verse 3. It's just man-made climate change. It's just a 12,000 year cycle for the earth. It's just blah, blah, blah. Also with the amping up process, things that people are in no way prepared for are happening suddenly. And because we have been instructed to testify of Yahushua and to speak the truth and to bring remembrance, we need you to remember he's on his way.
It's slow trading, it's slow moving. We're tight, that's what we're packed up. Yeah, that's sick friends. Yeah, they didn't have started. That was his house. Is that window trying to break?
A deadly storm just hit Alaska, and it came from the Pacific. Did you know a typhoon from the Pacific just hit Alaska? Yeah. Something that started as a tropical storm thousands of miles away turned into a monster that's now flooding entire towns and leaving people stranded.
Remnants of the Halong typhoon that was ravaging Japan made its way all the way to Alaska.
It started as Typhoon Halong in the Western Pacific, but as it moved north, it turned into a powerful post-tropical cyclone. Instead of fading away, it grew stronger and slammed straight into western Alaska, harder than anyone expected. Winds hit over 100 miles an hour. Floodwaters reached record levels, swallowing homes and roads. Entire houses were ripped from their foundations. Some even floated away.
There was a house right here. There was a house.
At least 3 people are unaccounted for in the small western Alaskan village of Kipnik.
They're gone. We don't know where they're at.
Video shows homes floating away. A powerful typhoon caused flooding and brought more than 100-mile-an-hour winds.
In the small villages of Kipnuk and Kwigillingok, at least 1 person is confirmed dead, 2 are missing, and over 1,000 people have lost their homes. Power lines are down, runways destroyed, food and water supplies ruined, and now freezing weather is closing in fast.
Alaska didn't just get hit by a storm. It got hit by silence. A friggin' typhoon! A Pacific typhoon! Slammed into Alaska over the weekend. 100-mile-an-hour winds, storm surge, entire coastal villages completely wiped off the map. Bethel, Kutzube, Kipnuk, names most people can't even pronounce. But now they're gone. And somehow, this has barely even made the national news. Think about that. The same week that all of your favorite influencers are arguing over pumpkin spice, an entire part of America is underwater. There have been 30 people rescued. Dozens are still missing. Families are sleeping in schools that have been turned into shelters. The storm came along with Typhoon Halong, the same system that tore through Japan and crossed over the Pacific.
Well, disastrous floods from the remnants of Typhoon Halong have left 1 person dead in the state of Alaska. 51 people and 2 dogs were also rescued after devastating floods swept through some of the coastal villages on the western part of the state, just off of the Bering Sea. 10 feet of water rose in about 4 hours at Kipnuk River on Sunday, and you can see all of the damage caused by these record-setting floods in this drone footage. Let's talk more about what happened and how it all came about. Was also watching some reports out of Alaska on social media and other outlets. Man, there were homes that were picked up and were floating down the river and just not where they belonged. Here's a look at Super Typhoon Halong. It was massive. And when you talk about Super Typhoon, some of the winds were up at 156 miles per hour. When you think about a United States hurricane, same thing, just different name, you're talking 156, that's top end category 4. You get to 157, you're a Cat 5. So it was right there on the verge of becoming Cat 5. It was massive, moved right along the coast of Japan. The steering mechanisms, we always talk about that, played huge on this. In fact, we had a huge dip in the jet helped to pick the storm up. And guess where it took it? Well, here's the dip in the jet. It took remnants of this after it had a short life as a tropical storm right into the Bering Sea, slamming the west coast of Alaska, skipping over the Aleutian Islands.
The situation right now is truly heartbreaking in Vietnam. Over the past few weeks, 3 consecutive typhoons has struck Vietnam, bringing non-stop rain, heavy rain, and severe flooding across 18 provinces in Vietnam. More than 85 precious lives has been lost, and hundreds of people are injured. And thousands of families have seen their homes, school, livelihood swept away, everything.
The book of the prophet Amos, chapter 9, verse 5. And Yahweh, the Most High Power of hosts, is he that toucheth the land, and it shall melt, and all they that dwell therein shall mourn, and it shall rise up wholly like a flood, and shall be drowned as by the flood of Egypt. And Yahweh, the Most High Power of hosts, is he that toucheth the land, and it shall melt. Remember, Yahweh Shai has always said, I am in the Father, and the Father is in me. Yahweh Shai has been given power to judge on behalf of the Father. And Yahweh, the Most High Power of hosts, is he that toucheth the land, and it shall melt, as the Spirit brought out.
A week of deadly flash floods and cloudbursts in India and Pakistan have killed hundreds of people. But the weather has been most lethal in the mountainous region of the two countries. In Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, more than 300 people have been killed and hundreds injured due to rains and mudslides.
The book of the prophet Nahum, chapter 1, verse 5. The mountains quake at him, and the hills melt, and the earth is burned at his presence, yea, the world and all that dwell therein. 6. Who can stand before his indignation, and who can abide in the fierceness of his anger? His fury is poured out like fire, and the rocks are thrown down by him. And the rocks are thrown down by him. While the devil, which means deceivers, who are the rulers of this last wicked kingdom, while they are hard at work on their long planned out agenda, plans that they have had for a long, long time, while they are busy trying to put their mark upon this earth solidly, claiming it for themselves and for themselves alone for eternity, while they're busy doing that, our brother, Yahushai, our King of Kings and our Lord of Lords, he is demonstrating the fury and the wrath, the fierceness of the one true living Most High power. And it's coming in many different ways. The book of Psalms, chapter 11, verse 6. This is our forefather, the prophet, and King David. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire, and brimstone, and an horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup. That's prophecy. This shall be the portion of their cup. The book of Revelation, chapter 21, verse 7, he that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his most high power, and he shall be my son. 8. But the fearful and unbelieving, and the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars, shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. We continue to warn you, the men who come out here and speak this word in truth and in sincerity, we continue to warn you. As the Spirit brought out what is being spoken about in this last judgment is fire. 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 Hot, hot fire. So if what the Father did in the first death by water is done again in the second death of fire, that means these volcanoes are going to erupt all throughout the earth, such that there's no place to hide, not a single place to hide. There will be nowhere to hide. And he will have thermonuclear warheads raining down from the heavens. So where are you going to go, and who are you going to call? Remember, if you're an Israelite, the only way out is up. And that's the truth. The only way out is up. There are many of you upon the earth today who think you understand terror, who think you understand fear. Now again, in the spirit, for the nation of Israel, this is an exhortation. This is not to scare you, but to prepare you. What the Father says shall occur, shall occur. Watch your step.
Sige sir.
Yes, I heard a rumbling sound before we felt the earthquake. A slight shaking, and then we heard an explosion.
While the devil, which means deceivers, which are the rulers of this last wicked kingdom, while they are trying to imprint and mark on the very minds of the people upon this earth, they're trying to have access and control over your very minds. We, the hopeful elect, those who are turned unto the Father in truth and in sincerity, understanding that we are in fact the Israelites, the sons and daughters of the one true living Most High power, through the bloodline and the seed line, through the prophecies and the promises. We give glory and honor unto our Father and His Son. We acknowledge our Father through the Son. We acknowledge the truth. We acknowledge the light. And we fight this mark that is trying to be placed upon us and in us. We give glory and honor, reverence, and fear where it belongs. The book of the prophet Baruch, chapter 2, verse 27. The book of the prophet Baruch can be found in the Apocrypha, which is the middle book of the King James 1611 Bible. O Yahweh, our Most High power, thou hast dealt with us after all thy goodness and according to all that great mercy of thine. 28. As thou spakest by thy servant Moses in the day when thou didst command him to write the law before the children of Israel, saying, 29, if ye will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations where I will scatter them. And so that's come to truth today. That is what is so today. We're scattered and we're much smaller than we used to be, much fewer than we used to be. 30, for I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves. 31, and shall know that I am Yahweh, their Most High power, for I will give them an heart and ears to hear. So those of us who are blessed by the Father today, we can hear the words of our Father through the Son upon the earth today, and we can see the power and the might and the majesty of our Father through the Son upon earth today in the signs that are continuing to amplify. They're getting louder and louder and clearer, and we're watching the frequency. Things are happening quicker and quicker and closer together. We can see it, we can hear it, we can acknowledge it, and we can give glory, honor, and praise where it belongs, and that's unto our Father in heaven. 32, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name. And that's what's going on today. That's what's going on today. And so this is a shunning of this mark, of this seal, of this imprint that the rulers of this last wicked kingdom are trying to force upon the inhabitants of the earth. And so it's really, really important to be mindful and to know who deserves your praise and your acknowledgement, and who you choose to seek protection from. Because our Father has demonstrated through Yahushua and continues to demonstrate through Yahushua real power. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 5, And Yahweh thy most high power will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. 6, And Yahweh thy most high power will circumcise thine heart, and the heart of thy seed, to love Yahweh thy most high power with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. 7, And Yahweh thy most high power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. That's a powerful most high power. And through our forefather, the prophet Moses, these words were said unto us, the nation of Israel. And we are watching them come true today. We are watching them come true today. Those who have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. The book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Our Father, which art in heaven, is going to fulfill upon everything he has promised, every prophecy, every promise. He's going to do it in his way. And so, like today, we're watching our Father's might and majesty and power through Yahushai, through the clouds. And there are those that have been created to facilitate the will of the Father. And so the rulers of this last wicked kingdom will come into alignment under Yahushai. But those under the rulers of this last wicked kingdom, they're starting to come into alignment now. This, the promise of our Father in Deuteronomy 30 and 7, and also the promise here in Revelation 13 and 10 is starting to take effect. We're actually starting to witness it. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 49. This is who you look for. This is who you look for. Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. So, for the people upon this earth today, again, the fourth beast would be diverse from all the other ones because it's being run from Mystery Babylon the Great, the so-called United States of America, which is separate basically from all the North and South America, from all the other countries, nations, families upon the earth. It's separate from them. So although it's being run from somewhere else, the might of the man, the beast, and the dragon is from here. And so there is a nation of fierce countenance. Oh, they murder. They do heinous things. They are the ones who are now working in unison. Remember, it's the man, the beast, and the dragon, all of whom are one. It is a nation of people. Esau, Edom, Idumea, Mount Seir, the so-called white nation. Inside of them is a family called Amalek. They run the money, and they're the ones going for full, absolute, complete oppression of the earth today. They have those that follow behind them. And so that comprises the beast system of governance, how they govern. They're all interconnected. And the dragon is how they carry themselves. They huff and they puff. They breathe fire. They knock things over. They hit things with their tail. They smash with their feet. This is what they do. And so you have to understand, really understand, now that the light is really piercing the darkness, that many things that you sort of laughed at or laughed off, they are correct. They are true at their deepest sense. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
There's a 500-year-old statue of a man eating a sack of babies, and nobody knows why. In the Swiss capital of Bern, a centuries-old statue continues to puzzle visitors and historians with its grim imagery. The sculpture, known as the Kindlifresser, which translates to child eater, dates back roughly 500 years and portrays a man devouring a child, with a bag full of other children slung over his shoulder. The statue's origin remains uncertain, and its meaning has long been debated.
The first book of St. Peter, chapter 5, verse 8. Remember, a lot of times things had to be written in code. But the light is piercing the darkness today. Really look. Really look. Be sober. Be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Walking about, seeking whom he may devour. There are layers to things. But understand who you're dealing with. The book of Proverbs, chapter 28, verse 15, as a roaring lion and as a raging bear, so is a wicked ruler over the poor people. Who may they devour spiritually, emotionally, financially, mentally, and for many of them, physically. As a roaring lion and a raging bear, so is a wicked ruler over the poor people. Many won't accept this because the rulers of this last wicked kingdom, they trust them. They trust them. The book of Sirach, chapter 37, verse 1, every friend saith, I am his friend also. But there is a friend which is only a friend in name. 2, is it not a grief unto death when a companion and friend is turned to an enemy? So remember who you're dealing with. You're dealing with one who has deceived the whole world. You may think they're your friends. You may think they care about you. You may think they're being authentic with you, the rulers. You may think that. 3, O wicked imagination, whence camest thou in to cover the earth with deceit? O wicked imagination, whence camest thou in to cover the earth with deceit? This is what they do. This is what they do. So you're a friend today, but are you? Have you perhaps been part of a plan that you had no idea about that is now kicking into high gear? Plantation, a usually large estate in a tropical or subtropical region that is cultivated by unskilled or semi-skilled labor under central direction. This meaning of the term arose during the period of European colonization in the tropics and subtropics of the New World. Essentially, wherever huge tracts of crops cultivated by slave labor became an economic mainstay. So this is from National Geographic's The Plantation System. This article describes the plantation system in the United States and the Caribbean as a tool of British colonialism that contributed to social and political inequality. It makes a connection between the economic prosperity of the South and the exploitation of enslaved people. So it began with the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 16 through 68, falling firmly upon the Israelites. Southern kingdom, Judah; northern kingdom, Israel. The Israelites, the so-called Negroes, the so-called Latins, Hispanics, the so-called Native Americans. It is now shifting off of the Israelites onto the other nations. The term plantation arose as settlements in the southern United States, originally linked with colonial expansion, came to revolve around the production of agriculture. The word plantation first appeared in English in the 15th century. Originally, the word plantation was a verb that meant to plant. However, what came to be known as plantations became the center of large-scale enslaved labor operations in the Western Hemisphere. Historians Peter H. Wood and Edward Baptist advocate for calling these places labor camps or slave labor camps rather than plantations, in order to avoid hiding the truth of what really happened in these agricultural operations using forced labor. So as we move out to today, we can take out the crops and all these other things. What the rulers of this last wicked kingdom are going for is the enslavement, the physical and mental enslavement of the people upon this earth today, and slave labor. That's it. Because remember, the earth doesn't bless them. It doesn't bless them. So their entire system is based on slavery. And so because it has begun to crumble, they want slavery from everyone upon this earth. This is what the rulers of this last wicked kingdom are working towards. They want slavery from everyone. They want to slave everyone. Right? Now, a very important point to make here is that this all began in Mystery Babylon the Great, the so-called United States of America, predominantly North America, but North and South America and the Caribbean islands, right? And it began with the Israelites. So North America, the so-called United States of America, is Mystery Babylon the Great referred to in the Bible, because it also identifies who the Israelites are. Do not get confused, and do not let anyone deceive you, because many are starting to put the pieces together, because the prophets, the brothers, the modern day prophets, the brothers who are out on the street at camp, the brothers who are giving classes, and the brothers who are online speaking this word in truth and in sincerity, they're bringing the light. And so a lot of people are starting to see. So now they want to cleave on and sort of maybe even try and see if they can usurp the blessing. We've gone through the curses. Now they want the blessings without getting the curses. So don't be confused and don't be deceived.
Because this place is wicked as hell. It's like Hades. This is Babylon. It's the dwelling place of demons. If you want to go to a place called Babylon, the dwelling place of demons, just take a flight to India. Any part of India, doesn't matter which part. They are all overcome and overwhelmed by darkness and evil and heaviness and oppression.
Mystery Babylon the Great, the so-called United States of America, is the place where the Israelites, for the most part, were raped, robbed, pillaged, and saw real atrocities. Now, the devil, which means deceivers, they're also death, which are the rulers of this last wicked kingdom. And hell follows behind them. So there are many nations and families upon this earth that have followed behind them and their customs. So that spirit, yes, that spirit is rampant throughout the earth. That is true. I will not disagree with the man there on that. But the actual location of Mystery Babylon the Great, it's Mystery Babylon the Great, the so-called United States of America. So there's no confusion. Dissolve that doubt out. And so this is where the devil, which means deceivers, and those filled with the spirit of Satan are trying to mark the minds and the bodies of all the inhabitants upon this earth today. So, there's a warning from this point on in this chapter. Some very serious questions are going to be posed. And if you do not want to at all consider any uncomfortable thoughts, then you should just stop here. The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahweh the Most High Power had made. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahweh the Most High Power had made. So that we can have a better understanding together. Here is the word for serpent. Serpent, snake, serpent, image of certain serpent, fleeing serpent mythologically. Serpent as hissing, as crafty tempter, a serpent of a town, of a king, and here's the one we want, and of various men. And of various men. So definition of serpent. And of various men. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahweh the Most High Power had made. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahweh the Most High Power had made. The book of Sirach, chapter 19, verse 26, there is a wicked man that hangeth down his head sadly, but inwardly he is full of deceit. So there are various men of a nation, of particular families inside of that nation, who hang their head down. Like they're humble, like they're on your side, like they're your friend, like you can trust them, like you can trust them with your life. There is a wicked man that hangeth down his head sadly, but inwardly he is full of deceit. A definition for the word serpent means various men.
One last question, and then I'm going to ask you your final thoughts before we go, Brian. What does virus translate to in Latin? Do you know?
This is Latin to English dictionaries. All right, so one thing very important, why does this have anything to do with this question about what's the definition of the word virus? The word virus is not an English word. The word virus is only a Latin word. So 100% of all Latin to English dictionaries translate the word virus, which is a Latin word, into the English translation. In every single one of them, it reads this, and I quote, virus in Latin means in English either poison, comma, especially of snake's venom. So it's got two definitions in every one of these books. It's either a poison, comma, especially of snake's venom. The next word in English that it translates into in all of these is venom. So it either means poison, a poison that is especially from a snake's venom, or it means venom.
So it's not an exaggeration to say that the man, the beast, the dragon, the devil, the deceivers of this, the rulers of this last wicked kingdom, the deceivers, filled with the spirit of Satan. It's not an exaggeration to say they're working to get inside of your body. And because they're filled with pride, they do want you to know it's them. They do. They do. The book of the prophet Job, chapter 9, verse 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So, even in the blessing that they have, instead of just taking out the images of the Israelites, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. The judges of this earth are the Israelites. The judges of this earth are the Israelites. So instead of just, removing the images of the judges, they cover them over. They put their image on top of. Whitewashing, right? The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So if you really look at everything that you see, you start to understand. It's like I saw the Pieta, right? And I thought there was only one of them. Turns out there are many of them. And then if you look in art deeper and deeper and deeper, there are many paintings that many different artists did that are very similar to one another. And I understood that they were given a script. Like this was the script to tell their story. So it wasn't like some artist really just came up with a piece of art. No, they all copied things so that it could permeate the earth, if you can understand that. It's like they were given a script. Well, who had the power to do that? Who had the power and the money to do that? Who had the power, the wealth, and the influence to do that? The book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 18, the wicked worketh a deceitful work, but to him that soweth righteousness shall be a sure reward. Because you know who to honor, you know who to trust, you know who to fear, you know who to have reverence for. You know. You know. You know what is what. The book of Psalms, chapter 10, verse 2, the wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. So the wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. So, as with ownership, see, this is what the rulers of this last wicked kingdom really believe, and this is what's being demonstrated. If you really get to the heart of it, this is what's being demonstrated in Gaza: is ownership of human life. Ownership of human life. They are working to demonstrate that they are the most high power upon earth. The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. And you know what they've imagined? Thermonuclear warheads. They created them. They made them with their own hands. So Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. What if the man, the beast, the dragon, the devil, filled with the spirit of Satan, what if they've already run a test for putting something in you? What if the last few years has been a building process in a portion of the population? What if that's what the beast system of governance has been up to? What if they've just been running a test?
These shape-shifting robots can flow like water and squeeze through tight spaces, all without losing their structural integrity. Researchers at Seoul National University have created what they've referred to as particle armored liquid robots, or PBs, blatantly rejecting the more obvious PALBOT acronym. It's essentially a drop of water coated with a dense layer of hydrophobic particles. This particle armor provides structural stability while maintaining the fluidity of the liquid core. These PBs can navigate complex environments, engulf and transport cargo, merge with other PBs, and even cross from water to land without losing integrity, allowing researchers to create most over-engineered Lemmings simulator possible. They're propelled using acoustic radiation forces, think basically sound waves pushing them along. But how do you coat a drop of water in hydrophobic particles that are repelled from water in the first place? That's the key innovation here. The paper describes by freezing water into cuboid shape, most people call ice cubes, and coating them with PTFE particles, then allowing the ice to melt, these researchers produced these cuter cousins of the T1000. The increased particle density achieved in this method enhances the mechanical stability, allowing the PBs to withstand compression and impact forces that would rupture less armored liquid robots. The research team hopes that these soft wireless robots may hold future use inside the human body to deliver drugs directly to where they're needed, like directly to a tumor site. Now, while I wouldn't hold my breath for these guys ever getting the opportunity to leave a snail trail of microplastics through your body, in the meantime they are hypnotically entertaining enough just to watch.
They are working diligently to put their digital seal, their digital brand, their digital mark all over the inhabitants of this earth. They're working hard. The book of the prophet Job, chapter 20, verse 27, the heaven shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. So, the eternal kingdom of the mighty nation of Israel is eternal rulership upon this earth, eternal authority. And so many in the spirit have returned. We are, as the Israelites, we're the nation wherever we are upon the earth, and those who are turned unto the Father through the Son, in truth and in sincerity, we're the city wherever we are. And the temple's there. We are the temple. The hopeful elect. We are the temple today. And so the judges are the Israelites. And so the men who come out here and speak this word in truth and in sincerity, we're piercing the darkness with this light. So the heaven shall reveal his iniquity. So this word is being spoken and the truth is being revealed. Also, we have the power of our Father with it through the internet. Our Father had the internet created so that the words of Yahushua could be fulfilled, that this gospel would be spoken to the whole earth. So it's being revealed. The truth is being revealed. And the earth shall rise up against him. So the inhabitants of the earth are getting wind of this. And they're upset. And so now they're speaking what they know. Because they've been lied to as well. They've been lied to as well. 28, the increase of his house shall depart, and his goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath. 29, this is the portion of a wicked man from the Most High Power, and the heritage appointed unto him by the Most High Power. So there's no way to run from this for the wicked. There's no way to run from this. This is their portion. This is what they're due. This is what they're going to receive. And so no matter how hard they try to overturn the decree of the one true living Most High Power, it's not going to happen. The increase of his house shall depart. They're broke. I don't know how you spend all the money that people have made upon this earth as the rulers of this last wicked kingdom. I don't know how you spend it all, but they're broke, particularly Mystery Babylon the Great, the so-called United States of America. We'll get to that video at the end of this chapter. It'll be the video at the end of this chapter. But that's their pride. It's just never enough for them. There's just never enough for them. But they're being seen for who they are. The earth is giving them up today because many of the other nations are like, we didn't sign up for this. We didn't sign up for this at all. The book of Proverbs, chapter 21, verse 10, the soul of the wicked desireth evil. So you think that's your friend. This is what is in them. You think the rulers of this last wicked kingdom are your friend. You think your governments are your friends. You think the captains of industry, these corporate giants, you think they love you. The soul of the wicked desireth evil. They desire to be in the positions that they are in because they have access to bring evil and hurt and pain and misery. And they enjoy it. The soul of the wicked desireth evil. His neighbor findeth no favor in his eyes. Oh, wicked imagination. They smile at you. They smile at you. But we're warned. We're warned. That's the love of our Father. The book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 14, enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. 15, avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away. And so this is what the true service of the one true living Most High Power were all about when the super hots first came on the scene. We all said no, 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 no. And so again, shunned, mocked, ridiculed, called murderers, reckless, and yet time tells all things. And so we're going to tell you again here, because this isn't the end of it. That was just a test. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. 15, avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away. The book of Sirach, chapter 11, verse 33, take heed of a mischievous man. They've been identified. You know who they are. Pay attention. Take heed of a mischievous man, for he worketh wickedness. Their soul desireth it, lest he bring upon thee a perpetual blot. Many people are in bad shape today because they trusted.
The 248-page patent for the Moderna technology that was administered to people in the COVID shots was filed in 2020. The patent lists several embodiments or variations of this technology. And while we don't know who got what embodiment, we know that several different batch numbers were deployed, and some were far more deadlier than others. According to the Moderna patent, this technology contains self-assembled nanoparticles, and in certain variations, these nanoparticles can be used for the controlled release of compounds once they are in the human body. These lipid nanoparticles are encapsulated into a polymer hydrogel, a controlled release coating that includes polyvinyls. This has been verified by Anna Mielchia and Clifford Carnicom's research. In a 2013 TEDMed talk, Dr. Ido Bachelet says that these nanorobots have already been successfully developed in Israel, and that they can be injected into the human body with a basic syringe. He shows an image of what they look like, and they appear to be the same structures that the fifth column found in their research and claimed was powered by 5G, which was confirmed by Dr. Bachelet.
My team developed nanorobots that carry antennae. These antennae are made from metal nanoparticles. Now, the antenna enabled the nanobots to respond to externally applied electromagnetic fields. So these versions of nanobots can actually be activated with the press of a button on a joystick.
In the following video, it is being discussed by developers in 2015.
The nanorobot we designed and fabricated is a machine that can be programmed to autonomously recognize target cells and deliver payloads to those cells.
The basic idea is to make a cage or a basket that protects a fragile or toxic or precious payload and only releases it when it's at the right moment.
The nanorobot that we designed actually looks like an open-ended barrel or a clamshell that has two halves. So the two halves of this open-ended barrel or clamshell are linked together by flexible DNA hinges, and the entire structure is held shut by latches or locks that are actually DNA double helices. The way it works is that in the absence of the key, which is a molecular protein, the duplexes are held sufficiently strong to maintain the entire structure closed. But when the key is present, that piece of DNA that we designed to recognize that key switches to bind to the key, and the duplex zips open.
The work of Todd Callender's team at vaxchoice.com have concluded that these shots contain a variety of synthetic pathogens that can be released with external 5G frequencies. The Moderna patent describes these nanoparticle mimics, which mimic the delivery of a variety of pathogens, and lists over 100 of them within the patent. And according to the work at VaxChoice, these synthetic pathogens each have an IP address. They are cataloged by the Department of Energy, and they use cesium-137, which we have been contaminated with from the environment, as a building block for their construction within our bodies using external frequency. And their research shows that the Microsoft patent filed in 2020, 060606, cryptocurrency system using body activity data, is now in effect, and that this technology is turning the human body into an antenna, which can output energy, meaning that humans are being turned into batteries to fuel the digital AI prison that is being built around us. And if you choose not to comply, the technology includes a built-in kill switch. Thanks to many independent researchers and scientists, we are figuring out their agenda, but they continue to walk freely among us, unrestrained by any justice whatsoever.
What are they trying to build inside of the inhabitants of this earth? What are they trying to build? Are they trying to build a system that will automatically link you to their most high power, artificial intelligence? Is that what they're trying to do? Simply questions. Returning to the first book of St. Peter, chapter 5, verse 8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, which means deceivers, as a roaring lion walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. So let's look at this word adversary. Here is the word for adversary. Opponent. An opponent in a suit of law. An adversary, enemy. An opponent, especially Satan, as the arch enemy adversary. Universally, an adversary. Enemy. The devil as here called because he accuses men before the Most High Power. The book of Psalms, chapter 11, verse 2, for lo, the wicked bend their bow. They make ready their arrow upon the string, that they may privily shoot at the upright in heart. So the wicked take aim at the upright in secret, that they may privately, quietly, covertly shoot at the upright in heart to destroy. And one of their arrows has been the needle has been an arrow. The needle has been an arrow. But for those of you who really trust in this last wicked kingdom, it can't be made any clearer who is running this thing. It can't be made any clearer. The book of Psalms, chapter 37, verse 12, the wicked plotteth against the just and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. So how do they gnash upon people with their teeth in their plot? They said you had to take that arrow in your body, right? They said you had to, for work, to go to the movies, to go here, to do this, to do this. This is how they gnashed on you. This is how they gnashed on you. But those who had faith in the one true living Most High power found a way around it. 14, the wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy and to slay such as be of upright conversation. So even something as basic as the people who questioned, how could you come up with something like that in a year, and what's it been tested on? Cut down to the ground. Shut up. Take it or starve, or whatever they said. Because it was also how plantation owners treat the occupants of the plantation. Can you understand that? 32, the wicked watcheth the righteous and seeketh to slay him. So this is really coming online now for the 1/3, the men, the women, the children, the true believers, the remnant of the mighty nation of Israel. All of us who are in this truth today, as Israelites firmly in this truth today, we're the hopeful 1/3. We hope to make it to the end. We hope to be blessed to see the return of Yahushua and the heavenly host. But, particularly for the servants of the one true living Most High power, it's been spoken that, some, they're going to put us to death. And that's the way it is. It serves the Father's purpose. But know where you are. The wicked watcheth the righteous and seeketh to slay him. This isn't done yet. The first book of St. Timothy, chapter 6, verse 20. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, this living water, this living word, wisdom, the truth, the oracles of the one true living Most High power, the prophecies and the promises. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science, falsely so called. Who are they in opposition to? The one true living Most High power. Our Father brings the breath of life. The devil, filled with the spirit of Satan, they bring the breath of death. Avoid profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science, falsely so called.
Bit about the study that just came out of Sweden that is just so alarming.
The news is buzzing out of Lund University, Malmö, Sweden. Marcus Alden is the first author. The first demonstration in a human hepatic or liver cell line that the Pfizer vaccine, in fact, reverse transcribes and installs DNA into the human genome.
Wow. And so in simple terms, what does that mean, Dr. Bartlett?
Thank you for making it simple. So basically, there's an enzyme that can take that messenger RNA vaccine information and put it into the DNA of the person, into their DNA. And we were told that could not happen. So this is in a lab, but it's showing that you remember the vaccine is messenger RNA.
Yeah.
And we were told that that messenger RNA could not go into your DNA, but this is showing that in a lab it can.
And so what happens when it does, Dr. Gold?
Well, can I answer slightly different than your question?
Yeah.
So one of the fun things about the last couple of years being a doctor and lawyer is this is a very interesting opportunity, and I think we're going to be bringing another lawsuit because there's actually federal law that you cannot discriminate against people for genetic discriminations. I forgot the acronym. I think it's GINA, G-I-N-A. GINA, right? So this now opens the door to saying that if you're not allowing somebody in who chose not to get the shot, that you're actually engaging in genetic discrimination. So I think this Sweden study, I think, opens the door to a new type of lawsuit.
If you're pregnant and you have this done, can that then affect your baby?
Yes, this is the alarming finding. The CDC says on its website very explicitly, this will not change your DNA. The paper that came out of Sweden, now there'll be many more to confirm it.
The devil, which means deceivers, which are the rulers of this last wicked kingdom, they tested their branding iron out. They tested it out. They're heating it up. They're getting ready to really roll it out. They want you to fear and worship them in your forehead. And they want their brand, their mark, inside of you. The book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Because they wake up to some hard truths that they are seen as slaves. They're seen as cattle. They're seen as less than by those that rule over them. They are lied to and deceived like they don't matter. We, as the Israelites, we have something to counter this, though. We do. All praise to the one true living Most High power. The book of Psalms, chapter 62, verse 1, truly my soul waiteth upon the Most High power. From him cometh my salvation. Moving forward, whatever crisis there is, if they tell you there's only one choice and it's from them, truly my soul waiteth upon the Most High power. From him cometh my salvation. 2, he only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be greatly moved. No fear, no doubt. Exhale doubt. Understand the truth. 3, how long will ye imagine mischief against a man? Ye shall be slain, all of you. As a bowing wall shall ye be, and as a tottering fence. So, we've seen it coming for a long time, and it's little by little by little. But when it's time, it's all going to collapse all at once, violently and with great force. 4, they only consult to cast him down from his excellency. They delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly, Selah. This is all at the heart of it. This is all they want to do. The rulers of this last wicked king, they want to bring down Israel. They want to bring down Jacob. They want to bring down the Israelites. But in their anger, they just want to bring everything down. They want to bring everything down. 5. My soul, wait thou only upon the Most High Power, for my expectation is from him. 6. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be moved. 7. In the Most High Power is my salvation and my glory. The rock of my strength and my refuge is in the Most High Power, because he has spoken salvation for the nation of Israel. Now again, not every one of the other nations is an evil, wicked person. This world was made for many. World meaning time frame, age, span of time. This world was made for many. The world to come for few, but there will be members of the other nations and families there. There is a bloodline and a seed line that will be done away with completely after they've paid their bill. But that's been spoken more than not. So for the other families and nations upon the earth, a way will be made. I don't know what that is. That's up to the Father, and he'll do it in his way. This, as always, is for the Israelites. The book of Psalms, chapter 64, verse 1. Hear my voice, O Most High Power, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. They were bending their bow with their arrows filled with venom, and told no one but the Spirit. The Spirit told those who were turned unto the one true living Most High Power. Wisdom gave direction around action. Three, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. You have to take this. You can't work. You can't go to a restaurant. You can't go to the movies. You can't do this. You can't do that. Who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. 4, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. So this shows their absolute contempt for the one true living Most High Power, because they think that they can shoot at the beloved of the one true living Most High Power and not be seen. They think they can do that. They really believe that they can do that. 5, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? This is what they really believe in their hearts. But again, this is where the power and the might and the glory and the majesty of our Father is being demonstrated today through his Son, Yahushua, and through the servants upon this earth today. The book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 47, verse 10. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am. The wicked have said they are the Most High Power. They have said that they exist and none exists above them. That there is no power beside them. That they are forever. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. 11, therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. So believe in that, understand that, and trust that. Enter not into the path of the wicked. Continue to pray to be blessed with wisdom, and endure unto the end. Make your way to the designated location and be there at the designated time. The book of the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 49, verse 10. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not. So, because they desireth evil, they have gone against just about everybody upon this earth. They've lied to everyone upon this earth. And so there are those who are with them, they're spoiled. And then there are those they have lied to, and they're spoiled. They're spoiled. And there's no hiding. There's no hiding anymore. Returning to the book of the prophet Isaiah 47, now verse 3, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as man. So in every form that the wicked can be met in, this is how our Father, through the Son, is going to meet them. Because their wickedness has been and is great upon the earth. Their lies, their deceit is great upon the earth.
So this right here is the first time I looked at the Pfizer vials with Dr. David Nixon under the microscope. So you see this metallic background noise, and no, this is not Brownian movement. These are actually biosensors. They're blinking lights that look like quantum dot technology. They change colors and they emit light. And they actually work to self-assemble this metallic structure here. And so then the next step from there was Dr. David Nixon had this drop of the Pfizer vial dry under the microscope, and it was developing microchips, including these connection cables that were considered by our electrical engineer and nanotechnology engineers that we consulted with as possible optical communication cables between these microchips. So then what happened was that in the vaccinated blood, unusual structures were being seen that certainly look very similar to these hydrogel filaments. And they also had a very close resemblance to Morgellons or cross-domain bacteria that, for example, Clifford Carnicom, who is actually present at this call, has been researching for more than 30 years. So what happened then, I actually had the honor to be a research partner of Clifford Carnicom, and we did a lot of different tests together. But one of the things that I also evaluated was not just the clots of those who had passed away from the shots, but Richard Hirschman, the embalmer, sent to me embalmed blood of somebody who was deceased more than 8 months ago. And I looked at this blood under the microscope, and I found exactly the same filamental structures that we see in the regular blood. And the other thing that I filmed was continued self-assembly. So what you can see here is this embalmed blood, and right here, these round spheres continue to move. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. And you see that they are filled with these what's called micro-robotic structures that are blinking lights. Actually, they're emitting light. And if I just move this forward here, this is right now at 4 minutes, you can see how rapid the self-assembly continues to be, even though this individual is deceased. So this goes along with actually the finding in regards to the MAC address phenomenon that other colleagues around the world have found. By the way, this right here is a little metallic object exactly like we saw in the Pfizer vials. And so, for example, there were doctors in Ecuador by the group of Comusav who went to evaluate the MAC address phenomenon that the vaccinated were emitting, and even found that there's continued emission after death from the graveyard. So this right here is a 4,000 times magnification, and you can clearly see this is a red blood cell. So the approximate size here of these blinking lights is maybe 500 nanometers. And because the diameter of a red blood cell is about 5 to 7 microns. So you can see that that certainly they're moving, they're mobile, and they're changing colors and emitting light frequencies. So quantum dot technology, which is used for biosensing application, does exactly that. It changes colors from red to blue to green. and through that is emitting certain signals and encoded information. And these nanosensors are exactly used within this
What are they building over there? Better yet, what are they building in there? What are they building inside of the inhabitants of this earth? What are they building? Where are they in their agenda now that they are bringing a new stamp, a new mark to the earth, making it mandatory, making this part of the mark mandatory? Where are they going next? Where are they going next? The second book of the prophet Esdras, chapter 15, verse 6, for wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. So this is them being them. And they have done hurtful works. Hurtful works. They have done hurtful things to the inhabitants of this earth. Hurtful things. The second book of the prophet Esdras, chapter 11, verse 40, and the fourth beast system of governance, the man, the beast, the dragon. And the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were past, and had power over the world, time frame, age, span of time, with great fearfulness, and over the whole compass of the earth with much wicked oppression. Yeah, that's oppression, to start construction inside of people's bodies without their consent and knowledge. And so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit. With deceit. The second book of Thessalonians, chapter 2, verse 8, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom Yahweh shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. So, are there any questions on who the wicked are? Are there really any questions on who the wicked are? And if you're an Israelite, are there any questions on who you can absolutely trust and who you can absolutely not trust? Whom Yahweh shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. So remember, we're listening to today, the Israelites. We can hear the voice of our Father, Yahweh, through his Son, Yahushai. Remember, it's Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Our Father comes in the name of the Son. So we can hear the voice of our Father today through the Son, through the servants of the one true living most high power, speaking this word in truth and in sincerity, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. We're bringing the light. We're bringing the light. To the men who I stand shoulder to shoulder with in the Spirit, we get to fight the dragon. We bring the sword of this truth, and we bring light, the light of our King. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom Yahweh shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
Ending the long era of conflict and Cold War. We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
United Nations Charter, Chapter 1, Purposes and Principles. The purposes of the United Nations are, 1, to maintain international peace and security, and to that end to take effective collective measures for the prevention and removal of threats to the peace and for the suppression of acts of aggression or other breaches of the peace, and to bring about by peaceful means and in conformity with the principles of justice and international law, adjustment or settlement of international disputes or situations which might lead to a breach of the peace. It says nothing about the inhabitants of this earth. It says nothing about the citizens of this earth. It says nothing about you or I. It speaks of principalities and powers. It speaks about the peace. The peace to who? Those who run this last wicked kingdom. That's who. It speaks nothing about the citizens. So, they've run this test. They're pushing their agenda along, and they do it no matter what the cost. They could care less about the actual and true cost.
Good morning. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Teresa Long, and I've been invited here today to testify to the truth before the legislators of Idaho. The information I'm presenting is made as a protected communication under Title 10 USC 1034 as a whistleblower. My opinions are my own and do not reflect that of the United States Army, the DoD, or any entity thereof.
Insurance companies figured that if there was something catastrophic that happened to the United States, they would see a 10% increase in all-cause morbidity and mortality. 10% for just like an unprecedented catastrophic, natural event or something that happened in the United States.
U.S. life insurance companies have reported an overwhelming and unexplainable increase in all-cause deaths among 18 to 49-year-olds.
40% is no one's even calculated that. I mean, that's never been factored into what things would look like. It's apocalyptic.
In my 15 years as a doctor taking care of soldiers, I have never seen this litany of debilitating and potentially deadly medical conditions in soldiers. These conditions included strokes, transient ischemic attacks, pericarditis, myocarditis, erratic heart rates, arrhythmias, rapid onset and progression of various cancers to include testicular cancer, esophageal cancer, brain tumors, neuroendocrine tumors, spinal tumors, thyroid dysfunction, multiple sclerosis, cognitive impairment, persistent severe insomnia, suppression of the immune system, unprovoked blood clots in the splenic and portal vein, avascular necrosis, liver dysfunction, menstrual irregularities, and miscarriages.
Well, I think if you look at the 5.3.6 post-marketing analysis report, the 1,291 adverse events, I don't think those came as diagnostic tests. I think they came as confirmatory tests. You ordered a product, you wanted the product to kill people. Hey, stockholders, we got exactly what you ordered.
So as there is the transition for the Israelites from the physical to the spiritual, for the man, the beast, the dragon, for the devil, they want to make the transition from physical to digital. And so this is where they're moving. They're moving to the branding, to the mark, the marking. So this is what it used to look like. And remember, it's the man, the beast, and the dragon, all of whom are one. Mystery Babylon the Great was run out of the so-called United States of America. But the rulers of this last wicked kingdom, this is what they want. They're going to digitally brand you. This is what they've been in the process of for a long time, right? Fingerprint for the phone, then eyes for the phone, then face, and now they're moving further in until they get the whole system inside of you. So why are they doing this? Well, they're broke. It's the end of their kingdom. And so they think that they can go back to the beginning with free resources and free labor. It's not going to happen. But this is what they believe. This is what they believe. And they believe it's correct, and they believe it's right. The book of Proverbs, chapter 24, verse 24, he that saith unto the wicked, thou art righteous, him shall the people curse. Nations shall abhor him. He that saith unto the wicked, thou art righteous, him shall the people curse. Nations shall abhor him. The book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 11, woe, woe means destruction. Woe unto the wicked. It shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. So again, they made those thermonuclear warheads. They made them. They created them. They're going to return back to them. The book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 13, verse 11, and I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Thus saith the Most High, as it is written. This is our defense, this is our rock, this is our salvation, our Father through the Son, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Trust that, know that, believe that, and hold on to that where we are headed. Because we have to walk through all the prophecies and the promises. But know for a fact, the last scripture we're going to in this chapter is the book of Psalms, chapter 75, verse 4. I said unto the fools, deal not foolishly, and to the wicked, lift not up the horn. 5. Lift not up your horn on high, speak not with a stiff neck. So for the wicked, they've lifted up their horn, their nation, their name, their images. They've covered up the true judges and princes of this earth and put their own faces there. They've lifted themselves even above the one true living Most High power. They've lifted their name and their likeness and their image. 6, for promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. 7, but the Most High power is the judge. But the Most High power is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another. 8, for in the hand of Yahweh there is a cup, and the wine is red. It is full of mixture, and he poureth out of the same. But the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth, shall wring them out and drink them. That's what's coming for the wicked. That is what is coming for the wicked. For in the hand of Yahweh there is a cup, and the wine is red. It is full of mixture, and he poureth out of the same. But the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth, shall wring them out and drink them. So there is justice, judgment, wrath, anger, fierceness, destruction. And at the very bottom, at the worst of it, the wicked are going to partake of that. Really going to partake of that. And this is what our hope is in. This is what our trust is in. This is what we have faith, hope, trust, and belief in as Israelites, as the sons and daughters of the one true living Most High power. The fulfillment of the words of the one true living Most High power. So, who knows what this next week will bring. But one thing we do know is, as Israelites, turned unto the Father through the Son in truth and in sincerity, we have hope, we have promises, and we have prophecies. Salvation shall occur. We are witnessing the power of our Father through the Son upon the earth. And we have everything we need in the living water and the living word, which is this Bible. We just need to endure. The Father through the Son is going to destroy the devices and the craftiness of the wicked. But we must walk through and endure until the end. Don't worry about what they say. Worry about what our Father says. Don't worry about what they do. Use wisdom. Enter not into the path of the wicked. But worry about what our Father is doing through the Son, Yahushai. After all, people never thought that Mystery Babylon the Great would end. Make no mistake about it. World War III and the nuclear destruction of America are coming. It will coincide exactly with the return of our King of Kings, Lord of Lords, Savior, High Priest, and Brother, Yahushai. Thus saith Yahweh. Philippians 2, 9 through 11. Wherefore Yahweh also hath highly exalted him, and given him a name which is above every name, that at the name of Yahushai every knee shall bow, of things in heaven, and things in earth, and things under the earth, and that every tongue should confess that Yahushai is Lord, to the glory of Yahweh the Father. As it is written, thus saith Yahweh, and nothing can stop it. This is a final warning, Israel. Shake off this world, remember who you are, and come home. All praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai.
Massive amounts of money is being printed, particularly in the United States, which is a reserve currency. That money is being given to banks who are being incentivized to invest in the stock market. So the entire stock market is being kept up on its own. Now that's just the debt of the United States government, 33 trillion. But that's just a very small piece of it. Over here is 103 trillion. This includes the debt of United States households, credit card loans, student loans, all that kind of stuff. That's actually $103 trillion in debt. This is what's called the unfunded liabilities. People who understand how to read a balance sheet will know this. This is all the liabilities, another 211 trillion the United States owes to people. For example, if I were to retire, the United States owes me my Social Security payments for all of us. And this is just the United States. You could probably do any other country. So 211 trillion plus 103 is $314 trillion is what the U.S. is in debt. If you think about a balance sheet, you have debt, your liabilities, and your assets. Well, what's the U.S. assets? If you sold every piece of property in the United States, all the assets in the United States, it's worth 220 trillion. Well, 220 trillion minus 314 trillion still leaves you in a deficit of about $90 trillion. The United States is literally bankrupt. It has no money. The entire U.S. economy is based on fumes. The only way the United States can survive with that $90 trillion deficit, the United States is going to create a new currency, centralized bank digital currency, FedNow. They're going to literally, make $100 trillion. It's not the US dollar, it's something else. And then they're going to take that $100 trillion and they're going to pay down the national debt using about 30 trillion. And the remaining 70 trillion, in order to balance the sheet, they're going to tell every American that all your assets are worth 3 cents on the dollar. So if you own a piece of real estate that's worth $100,000, overnight it's going to only be worth $30,000. The day of reckoning is going to come. When this happens, either there's going to be massive civil war in the United States, when people realize, wow, these people fucked us. Most of them were the Zionists.